It was 1835, and Indiana had just been a state for a little over 20 years, but Episcopalians were already gathering. The missionary Bishop Jackson Kemper rode into the state with a real ministry of encouragement. Now, Bishop Kemper had a fairly wide mission field, some 447,000 miles of what was once known as the Northwest Territory. Yet he came to encourage regularly scheduled Episcopal worship services, the preparation of young people for confirmation, and the establishment of schools. His encouragement caught fire, and the Episcopal presence grew. 6 clergymen and 10 laymen gathered on the Ohio River at Madison, Indiana, representing 6 of 9 established parishes at that time, to take steps to form the Diocese of Indiana. These early parishes included St. John's, Crawfordsville, the first to be established, as well as Christ Church, Indianapolis, Christ Church, Madison, the St. Paul's in Jeffersonville, New Albany, and Richmond, and another parish up in Michigan City. It was the year the telegraph was invented. The state of Kentucky passed a law enabling some women to attend school, and the year Queen Victoria was coronated and John Wilkes Booth was born. It was also a tragic time for Native Americans when Cherokee were relocated in what came to be known as the Trail of Tears. Before the first permanent bishop, the Reverend George Upfold, was called to the diocese in 1849, more parishes emerged: St. John's, Lafayette, St. James and Vincennes, and Trinity in Lawrenceburg, as well as a parish in LaPorte. St. Stephen's and Terre Haute closely followed, and by 1848 the diocese had more than doubled in size, with a total of 17 Hoosier parishes. Missionary Bishop Kemper presided over his last convention that following year. He eventually returned to his home in Wisconsin and died at the age of 80. The history of these early parishes was not without controversy, and there were some familiar problems. Parishes were building churches that were more than the congregation could afford, and there were problems with debt and lack of money. There were issues of members not regularly attending church. And there were abundant cases of, well, just basic personality conflicts and church leaders not getting along. And then came the American Civil War, lasting from 1861 to 1865, the focus of a divided nation struggling with the specter of slavery. There are records of slaves organizing into small worshiping communities as early as 1870. In 1886, one group adopted the name St. Philip's and began a heritage that would carry on through St. Philip's in Indianapolis even today. Through the Civil War years, the Episcopal Church, with only lukewarm support for the war, prevailed and even expanded and reached the turn of the century with several additional parishes. Post-war outreach focused on something called the Southern Famine Relief Commission, aiding those in the South who were recovering from war-related calamities. As issues of war recovery permeated society, the church was also struggling with some additional crises of the protocol variety. Bishop Upfold denounced the practice of displays of flowers in church on Easter. The concept of holding raffles and balls to, quote, replenish the treasury of the house of God, unquote, and the radical idea of celebrating the Lord's Supper in the evening during Holy Week. There seemed to always be another divisive issue as the church sought to shape and ground its identity as the Episcopal Church in the U.S. and the emerging frontier of Indiana.